and beautiful good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Very warmless and beautiful good morning to everyone. Welcome to all into RK's Campus Study Channel. I'm educator of the RK's Campus Academy. So today I am here to share myself. Today I am here to recite a very wonderful poem which is related our life. And this poem has been written by the Stephen Spender. And this poem is motivated a lot of the peoples. So let me tell you recite a small journey of the poet. So he was born 28 February 1999 and he was engaged in the Syrian battle youth and he was motivating a people. So let me define the meaning of the express, because we all have wandered in the train and we all have traveled in the train, but we could not absorb anything. So let me define the meaning of the express. So tell me that we use the express in the two times. First is the when someone is doing work very fastly, so on that time we always say that you are running like an express, you are talking like an express. So on that time we always say that in the second time we always say that is the you are just like the we always try to say that express, you need not to run like an express. So let me reach in the poem that is the which has been written by the Stephen Spender. So let's start. The first phase of the that when that in this line poet is about to say that about the industrialization when the factories were opening and many tools were making. So on that time people was very shocked having seen this thing, because no one was expecting that iron can be able to stand and iron can be able to run very fast. So on that time having seen this thing everyone was very shocked. In the second time before leaving the train secrete the fuel without making the news. So on that time having seen this thing poem wants to say that our life also happened, means the poem is comparing in the ancient era, in the modern era, that train used to run by the coal, but now this time train is used to run by the electricity also. So poet is wants to say this thing in this second. If we will enter in the second phase, so on that time poet is comparing the train than the queue. Just like the queue does not have to bend front of the anyone, similarly train does not have to bend front of the anyone. If we will enter in the second phase, so on that time when train having leave the station, when train entered in the houses and when train was passing beside the many houses. So on that time people began to peep from their windows for beholding the train due to curiosity, because in the first time they were watching the train. So having seen this thing they were very shocked. And if we will enter in the second phase, so on that time when train was passing the city, so on that time having reached the city train voice began to increase very loudly. So on that time having seen this thing poet is comparing than the human nature, because on that time we all are finding the opportunity and we always go toward the cities for finding the opportunity, and having taken the opportunity we always try to change our condition. And we all know that if we will enter in the city, so on that time having taken the opportunity we can be able to bring many changes in our life. The same things is happening when train reached in the empty place. So on that time train speed increased too much. So this thing, and if we will enter in the second phase, so on that time when train was passing the cone, so on that time what happened, train began to sing a song very loudly, and when it was passed from the cave, so what happened, its voice began to decrease. So what is happening, in the same things happen when the problems come in our life. So on that time our progress stop too much. So on that time, having seen this thing, poet is saying that is the when problem come in our life, so we should not stop. We must do our work with the honesty. If we will enter in the second phases, and that is the last phases, mean the night when train when train entered in the and there was the night. So on that time, train was looking like a one straight line, and train was appearing very good, means that train was looking like a meteorite body, just like the when train was going. So on that time, it was disappearing within the 1 second. So having seen this thing, poet want to say that in the same things we must apply in our life, that if we are doing any work, so we must do our work like a one straight line. If you are doing any work, so having seen this thing, other person must be think about you, that you can be able to get your aim definitely. So this thing has been explained by the poet. So having listened this thing, maybe you can be able to understand. You can be able to understand that we have traveled many times in train, but we didn't try to find anything. But poet traveled only one time in the train, and he having traveled in the train, he learned so many things, and he shared his memory with the pupils. So by these words, I'm going to take my seat. Thank you. Have a nice day.